From Lagos to the nation's capital, Abuja, where some of the nation's registered political parties have called for the creation of the Electoral Offences Commission to try electoral offenders. They also want the National Assembly to take a second look at the role of the judiciary to redeem its image. The political parties equally want adequate representation of persons with disabilities, the youth, and other vulnerable groups.
To my dear mothers and sisters, the women who are advocating for special seats, there is an advice I would like to advise. It's not just about getting the seat and you get to that parliament. The political parties that sponsor you, are you going to stay with them?
I think we should also include, which may even be easier, that you reserve the office of the deputy speaker in the House of Reps for women. Any woman that gets there, automatically, or woman that gets there among them, a woman must be the deputy speaker. A woman must also be the deputy speaker of every state assembly. The deputy senate president must also be a woman.
Welfare is part of the compulsory role of Federal Republic of Nigeria through our constitution. But we are not implementing it. The constitution says the welfare of every Nigerian shall be the responsibility of government. So if we cannot take care of everybody, but we choose these vulnerable ones.
National Secretary, Young Progressives Party, YPP, Viyeno Bameyi, joins me live for more. Mr. Bameyi, good to have you join us on TVC News at 7. IPAC at this time calling for the creation of the Electoral Offences Commission to try electoral offenders. Why has this become necessary, and wouldn't it amount to duplication of the duties of the courts as we currently have them?
Thank you very much. I don't think it will amount to duplication of the functions of the court, because the courts, as they are today, are saddled with a lot of responsibilities and cases. And as a legal practitioner, I know that cases have been adjourned now to even 2030. Can you imagine? So if you have a special court for electoral offences, they will specialize in just handling those cases. You don't have to saddle the regular courts with a lot of activities or a lot of cases when they have a lot of numerous cases already before them. So that is just my take on that.
All right, Mr. Bameyi. And then IPAC is also, calling on the National Assembly to take a second look at the role of the judiciary to redeem its image. What exactly, is this meant to achieve?
Well, what it's meant to achieve actually is to ensure that the judiciary live up to its the expectation of the common man as the hope of the common man. Truly, as it is today, a lot of very alarming and embarrassing judgments do come from the judiciary that, tend to make us think that maybe the judiciary is turning to something else, dancing a lot of times to the tune of the executive arm of government, more or less. So if you put in some measures in check that will ensure that the judiciary live up to the expectation of the common man as the hope of the common man, that is what we're looking after.
All
of recent times.
Yeah, please land on that. Yes, you can land on your thoughts, please.
Okay, yeah, I was saying of recent, some of the embarrassing judgments that have come from the judiciary are nothing to write home about.
But when you call it embarrassing, it depends on, which camp one is really. And as it is, the judiciary remains the last hope of the common man. But then let's talk about these call by political parties to, actualize adequate representation of persons with disabilities, the youth, and other vulnerable groups. Would that mean some sort of, setting aside a certain percentage? And would that also not amount to sacrificing meritocracy? Because in the video we played just before you came on, I heard one of the participants calling that the position of Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and of the State Assembly should be reserved for women. What if the woman there is actually in the minority? How do you handle all of these?
Well, as it is at the moment, we have the House of Reps has gone a long way in proposing a bill for constitutional amendment to create additional National Assembly and State Assembly seats for women. Now, the way that bill is going to work is what we have also analyzed and have also clamored that persons with disabilities should be included. As for the youth, I think the issue of the not too young to run bill that was signed some years back by the former president or late president has taken care of the issue of the youth. But the women, this special amendment of the Constitution has been proposed by the House of Reps to amend Section 48, 49, and 91 of the Constitution is one that is very laudable. And we praise the efforts of the National Assembly for that. But there is a lacuna that I would like to point out, because which we also pointed out at that meeting, for them to have a closer look at it. That is to say, if you amend Section 48, you will have 37 additional women senators, one per state, including the FCT. The amendment to Section 49 will also give us another 37 members of the House of Representatives, women members of the House of Representatives, including the FCT.
But then, Mr. Bameyi, so, you know, in each state, for instance, we have about 3 senatorial districts. So the question would then be, which senatorial district would, is it agree now, you know, to put a woman forward? Because if there are 3 different, you know, senatorial districts, one of them has to make that decision and others have to support it. How do you handle that? Because it does appear as though the ground rule would be to able to get these people first involved in politics and then they can vie for the positions.
Now, the proposal is a special seat. It is special in the sense that it is in addition to the 3. That means apart from the 3 regular seats, senatorial seats, which any woman who wants to vie for that regular seat is allowed to vie for it, there is also a special senatorial seat for only women.
All right, then.
For each state population. The same thing for House of Reps. And in the House of Assembly, in the case of the House of Assembly, you have 3 seats for each state House of Assembly.
All right,
and these seats...
All right, Mr. Bami, let's see how you can push this through. You know, let's see how the process would go, because, of course, also it needs the support of the state houses of assembly. National Secretary, Young Progressives Party, YPP, Viye Bameyi, thank you for your time on TVC News at 7.
Thank you very much. God bless.